Hey everyone, I'm back today to do my June check-in for the Read by the Sea Summer YA blog tour that I am hosting with Book Sparks. I did an original unboxing video to show y'all all of the books that are on this summer tour, and then I checked in May to talk about the May books. And today I'm back to talk about the books that came out in June. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive right in. The first book is Sweet Black Waves by Christina Perez. This one came out on June 5th, so it came out at the beginning of the month. And it's published by Imprint Reads. I did receive this advanced copy from Book Sparks for this tour, so thank you so much. This book is inspired by the star-crossed lovers of Tristan and Isolde. I actually have not heard of or read the original story, so I was in for a surprise with this book for sure, but I ended up loving it. This book was like so good. The kind of book that you don't know if you should laugh or cry or throw it across the room, you know. It is a fantasy story that has magic in it, but it's very much rooted in like a historical fiction feel to it. It is based in like Celtic mythology. So the languages and names used in this book are based loosely in ancient and medieval languages, so it definitely has that medieval feel to it. It did have a glossary at the back and some author notes on the world building and the languages and the names. Some research went into this book, and I could very much feel it in the atmosphere and setting of this story. I thought it was very strongly written in those aspects, and like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Our main character is Branwen, and she is the lady's maid and cousin to the princess of this land. The story really focuses on her. Most stories like this focus on the princess herself, but this focuses on more of a side character, I guess, but she turns out to be the main character. One day she finds a man washed up on the shore. Branwen has healing abilities and healing powers. She's been trained by the queen to heal injured people, and so this man is injured and she just has to help him. So she brings him to a cave, heals up his injuries, only to find out that he is from a land of her kingdom's enemies. So this is totally forbidden. Of course, you know, they end up having feelings for each other, and it just turns into this whirlwind of a story that's really just where the story starts off. There's a lot of like political intrigue in this story that I appreciated, as well as like character relationships that I thought were really strong, and I loved our main character. She grew throughout this book, and that's something I adore, is we can definitely see a change in the main character from beginning to end, and that happened with this main character, and I loved being on this journey with her. So many things happened in this book, and like I said, in the end I didn't know how to handle my emotions, to be honest. If you're interested in the original story of Tristan and Isolde, I think this is a must read. If you like sort of Celtic or medieval mythology or stories, this is a must read. I would say it's pretty similar to Beyond a Darkened Shore by Jessica Lake, which is a book I just reviewed, so I'll link that review below. I felt like they were pretty similar. I liked this one a little bit more, but they were similar. And I've also heard The Sky and the Deep, I'm not totally sure who the author is, I'll put it on the screen, is similar to these books as well. So I feel like this is a popular theme for books this summer, and I'm loving it. I'm learning a lot more about this mythology and history, and I'm really enjoying it. Second, we have But Not Forever by Jan von Schley. This book came out on June 12th, and it's published by Spark Press, and again, I received this advanced copy from Book Sparks. So this is one of the more lesser known books on this tour, but the synopsis of this book totally intrigued me, and it did not disappoint. And I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved it. The characters were just so good. But this book is about two 15-year-old girls. One lives in 1895 and one lives in the year 2015, so 120 years apart. One night during a crazy storm, they end up. I love time travel stories, historical fiction stories, so I thought this would just be a really fun time, and it was. What was really interesting is that the girls look exactly alike. Not only did they trade places, but they look exactly the same, so people didn't really believe them at first when they appeared in their new time periods. I feel like the book focused a little bit more on Sonnet, who was the girl that's from 2015, and time travel back to 1895. I felt like it focused a little bit more on her, but I really liked that about it. Pretty interesting to see how someone from our time would handle going back in time, and I will admit it was pretty funny but also kind of eye-opening because I would not survive in the 1800s. I love reading historical fiction books and watching movies, but this made me realize that I don't really want to be in that time period. And then of course it was cool to see Emma from 1895 come to 2015 and see all of the crazy stuff and inventions and modernization of her world. But I thought the characters were so well done. All of the friendships, family dynamics, character relationships were done very well. And this is a pretty short book. For what it was and for how long the book was, the author did a really great job telling the story. I even teared up at some points and I grew to love these characters. Next is My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. This is actually the sequel to My Lady Jane. My Plain Jane just came out on June 26th. I do believe this is actually more of a companion novel. I did not get a chance this month to read this sequel yet. I am almost halfway through My Lady Jane and I'm loving it. This book is hilarious and awesome and heartwarming, but also intriguing and interesting. It's keeping me on my toes. I'm also growing to love the characters. It's just a really fun time, but also kind of emotional. This one's a retelling of Lady Jane Grey, and it's the kind of story where the authors talk directly to the reader at times, and when things are going on with the characters, they have snippets in parentheses that kind of either explain what's going on a little bit further or like a funny or snarky joke. I adore this type of writing. It's kind of like satire, dark humor a little bit, but it's not super dark. Like I said, this is a retelling of Lady Jane Grey. She's forced to marry someone that she doesn't really want to marry. She loves reading, she loves books, she would spend her whole life reading if she could. What's interesting about this story is, yes, it's historical fiction, however, it's set in a world where there are certain people that can turn into animals. So that plays a major role in this story. They're called Ethans, I believe is how you pronounce it, and not everyone has this power, only some people, and it's a very politically charged theme in this book because some people hate these creatures and some people support them. And so it's very fascinating. I'm loving it. I'm getting through it quickly, so I will definitely finish this and read this companion novel, My Plain Jane, super soon and have a review up for these two books. My Plain Jane is a retelling of Jane Eyre, which Jane Eyre is one of my favorite stories of all time, so I'm really looking forward to this. It says on the back that the authors of My Lady Jane are back with a fantastic, romantic, hilarious, and entirely faithful, but not really, retelling of Jane Eyre. So I can't wait to finish My Lady Jane and jump into this book. I did receive this advanced copy from Booksparks as well. So those are all of the June books. I will have my other videos for this tour linked below if you want to go see the May books and all the other books that are on this tour. Definitely go check it out. I'll have a link to Booksparks' website below as well if you want more information, and they are also holding a summer mermaid giveaway if you want to go enter that. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a great time reading this summer. Let me know some of your favorite summer books you've read so far in the comments below, and I will see y'all soon. Bye!